The beauty industry is a huge, huge industry. It's the #1 industry that is growing right now. And it's just, there's so much going on and it can be super overwhelming. And I feel like there's so many claims like, oh, this is in, this is out.
Welcome back.
Next episode of
Unfilter It with
Lindsey
and China. Today we have a very special guest. She may sound and look familiar to you. She is our tried and true medical assistant, Alexa. Take it away, Lindsey. Who is Alexa?
So Alexa is this beautiful person that I've known now for probably, I'd say 6 or 7 years. She helps us in our day-to-day in the office, but other than that, she is an outstanding makeup artist. And she probably spends more time doing that during the week than her time with us. So we just wanted to highlight her, what she does, how it can influence what we do for patients, and talk a little bit about brides and things like that. So just give us a little roundabout of your experience and all that.
Okay, so I started doing makeup when I was 16. It was actually my babysitter. She asked my mom if I could do her makeup for her wedding. And I was so excited. We got my first set of tools and brushes and everything. And after doing that, I knew that this was something I wanted to do. So I've been literally doing weddings ever since. Professionally, I've been doing weddings after I finished beauty school in 2014. So over 10 years now. And I've worked for 3 different makeup companies. I worked for Bare Minerals, Too Faced Cosmetics, and then I finished working for Dior.
And I think you've also done some pageants too.
Yes,
right?
yes, I did New Jersey and New York pageant. I've done magazines. I've done some TV, film, a little bit. But yeah, I loved working in New York City. And then I realized that I love the shore, so I started working in Red Bank, and then it kind of took off from there.
Perfect.
What was it about makeup that drew you in?
I loved art. Growing up, I've always been an art major. Like even in school, I went to a special middle school where I had to try out and everything. So I just always loved art. And growing up, my mom was a single mom, and I was always around her friends, all these women with all their makeup and their hair and everything. And one of her best friends was a model, so she's the first person who actually taught me when I was 9 how to do their makeup. Oh. So I was always drawn to it, and I was always the girl in high school that had a full face of makeup on, and people would be like, why are you wearing makeup? And I'm like, because I want to. So it just kind of full circle, that's what I do.
I love that. Yeah.
Alexa is very, very talented. She has done our makeup a couple times for these events, for photo shoots. And it's something that I feel like if you have an artistic eye, you can't not have that to do makeup. So she's very, very talented.
And quick. Sometimes I'll say, Lex, I need a face in 20 minutes, and I look like I'm ready for a photo shoot, and it stays on. I'll sleep like a vampire that night and keep it on. Don't kill me if I don't wash my face.
I try.
But still, it stays on. It stays all day.
Speaking of that, Alexa, maybe you can tell the people what the difference is in doing your everyday makeup versus makeup for an event.
So I feel like for event makeup, it's all about layers. For everyday makeup, I feel like you just put one tinted moisturizer on, blush, bronzer, lashes, mascara, out the door, right? For events, it's all about layers. Moisturizer, then primer, then a base, then contour, then highlight, and then I also always end doing my brides with little airbrush foundation. So it's all about those little layers that kind of build up to just that beautiful, flawless canvas, and that looks really good in photos. So I feel like that's the difference. And also it's more. There's more to it. More products, more different, things like that. So for every day, I wouldn't do like severe contour or highlight or anything like that. So I feel like that's the difference.
Do you find that over the years of when you started out doing makeup to today, like has there been a shift in people want things more natural, or people, you know, are done with like crazy lashes, or like what have you seen as the current trend?
So current trend is definitely more natural, but like a full face. So it's like that perfect like mixture of like, okay, you look natural, but you're literally wearing a full face of makeup.
I was just gonna ask you that, like, for people that come to you and they're like, for say a wedding look, like I want a very natural look, it's still like a lot of makeup for the day, right?
It would be, for a very natural bride, it would be just a lot of little layers. So like, let's say tinted moisturizer, a little layer of that, but then a little layer of like everything else, like to build up to making sure you still look good on camera, because those pictures are forever.
Yeah.
So I always kind of keep that in mind, like, hey, I know you love to be super natural, but these photos are gonna be forever and I wanna make sure you look perfect.
And I will say, I've had my makeup done by a zillion people in my life so far, but your makeup doesn't feel like caked on. Like some people, I feel like it's just like heavy on my face, but for whatever your concoction is and the potion that you mix together, it's always great. And it's not like super heavy, or, you know, I feel like my skin can still breathe. I never break out. You know, I've broken out in the past from other makeup artists years ago. But I think that's a good little thing too.
Yeah, like I don't like to use too much product because then you just look caked on, you know. I like to do small layers. Like I said, I feel like that's kind of like one of my secrets. Just taking your time and making sure that you're not looking too cakey, especially if you have, you know, wrinkles, creases, you know, hyperpigmentation or like scars or anything like that. Like if you do more, like it'll show up.
Yep.
I think too, but people don't realize for photos and even filming like this, like our podcast, you're under a lot of lights, which can sometimes wash you out depending on your skin tone, right? So I think like people's thought process on makeup for these things when you're under lights, even film or camera, they may look at themselves in the mirror afterwards and be like, whoa, that's a lot of blush. But like, what are some of the considerations that you take into when you're doing someone's makeup for film to like counteract the lights washing them out?
I definitely like to use, I feel like some of these powders like to have flashback, and to prevent that, I always kind of like prime and set the face before and then after. For whatever reason, the liquid with my specific setting sprays I use, it'll kind of absorb that flashback that sometimes you get with like
Yeah, I've
setting
seen that
powders.
in some people's pictures. They
And
just
that's
look
like
like
when I
it's reflective. off
Yeah,
their face.
Like
so I
way
always
up, yeah.
kind of take that into consideration. And then like you said about blush, I always put more blush on people because I feel like blush is the first to fade. Molecularly at like a color level, red is the first molecule that will leave the face and the skin and wherever, even with hair color. So I always like to put on more because it's always going to be the first to fade.
That's a good tip. I
That
didn't
is a
know
good
that.
tip.
Write that down, everybody listening. Write
Bring
that
in-
down. More
Maybe
blush.
That's why
Bring on
people
the
would
blush.
powder their like touch up their rouge in the
Yes.
40s, you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit how makeup can enhance what we do for a living. So what is your recommendation? So you have someone coming to you, they're DMing you, hi, I have an event, or maybe they're an upcoming bride and things like that. Do you think I should get any aesthetic treatments before my event?
Well, I always ask if they're comfortable with me giving them suggestions. Usually people will be like, oh, so I hear that you're a medical assistant for It Aesthetix. Like, what would you recommend for me? And I always say, first I say skincare is really important. If you don't have good skin and good skincare, the makeup's not gonna look as good. So I feel like always recommending the medical estheticians and having a consult with them. And then I'll go into, hey, have you ever done Botox before? And I feel like Botox, depending on your age, I do get some young brides, but usually in my age range of having a bride, Botox is really great for those, forehead wrinkles, for in here, for squinting, and then also around the eyes. I think it's a really nice touch to just make the makeup not crease in those areas, and it also helps the makeup last. The longevity of makeup will last you so much more if there's no creasing or crinkling in your face. So I always recommend Botox for people. And then fillers too, like let's say you want like a little lip plumper, but you don't like the tingly effect. Get some lip filler. Try a lip flip. I always like to say whatever you want to get, like just want to make you feel your best, like no judgment.
I think what's cool too is like what we do kind of holds hands with what you do, because on our end, we are playing with lights and shadows from an internal perspective. So we're changing the way that the face is reflecting the light, and we're highlighting areas with filler, and we're creating contour in other ways as well.
For cheeks.
Yeah, especially for cheeks, and even marionette lines where we're filling in shadows and bringing things to the surface. So I think like by doing that internally, it helps, right? When you're
100%.
Makeup is similar,
like
playing
hide.
with highlights and shadows.
And I really feel like for your job, like you make people look more symmetrical, right? And I feel like that's also my job. So when you get your Botox and like, let's say you have one eyebrow that's lower than the other, I always like to say, get Botox, lift that one eyebrow. And then let's say that they sleep on one side of their face more and their cheek is smushed on the side. If they are more even with what you both do, it's gonna make my job a lot easier, and it's also gonna make sure they look better.
Yep. Yeah,
One
more
of
balanced.
the complaints that I find from people for getting event ready is under eye shadows. So do you have any tips for the public on
please.
how to on a daily basis maybe correct that with makeup?
So for under eye shadowing, I always like to color correct. If someone has really dark circles, a peachy color corrector is amazing. So I'll make sure there's no makeup underneath the eyes. So let's say I do shadow first. I usually do shadow first. Make sure with micellar water or whatever you like to use, there's nothing under there, because even the slightest amount of shadow or eyeliner or whatever that smears, that's gonna make you get those dark shadowing, right? So always, always wipe everything clean. And then I like to put an under eye cream on, and then I like to do a primer. I do like to use like a creamier primer, because with creasing, it'll kind of just glide everything over, because a lot of people have like little creases under their eyes. And then I use a color corrector, usually a peachy undertone if they're darker skin, and orange. And then I let that set. Sometimes I'll even spray the face with a little setting spray or a Fix Plus. And then once that dries down a little bit, do your concealer. I always like to do a shade lighter than your skin tone for your face, because it just will have like that brightening effect. So I'll do like a lighter skin tone concealer, put it underneath the eye. I kind of like to do a triangle type of pattern. Like I'll do a little bit here, a little bit here, and then a little bit here. Blend it out with a beauty blender or a brush, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. And then after that, set it, always.
Set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it. Always, always set with a pressed powder first. Get it like those triangle things. I forget what it's called at the moment.
Little sponges.
Little sponge. Set it. Don't set it directly on your face. Warm it up on your skin first, and then press it under your eye. And then after that, if you want to bake it, do a little baking loose powder over top, let that sit for a couple minutes, wipe it off, it'll not move.
Wow. Good.
I feel like I
tips
need a
right
class
there.
in this.
We need a class.
I need a class.
It will not move. So that is
I need
my,
that.
that
I need
is
to
my
set it,
secret.
forget it, and bake it.
So another concern that people bring up when we're doing filler is contour, how to do facial contour. So instead of like having to give a lesson and give away too many of your secrets, what are some of the mistakes that you see people do with contour walking around?
Not using a cool enough tone, more of like using a bronzer color than a contour color. I feel like
Explain
contouring.
the difference. Like, what's the difference between a bronzer color and a contour color?
Bronzer colors are usually more orange, usually like mimic like that nice sun-kissed tan. Contour colors are more of like, sometimes they can even look a little muddy, like that cooler brown tone that kind of
Like a little gray.
even like a little gray that mimics the shadows and like highlights of your face. I feel like that's a big mistake people make. And also going too low. I always see people like going really low, and my thing is I like to make people look lifted, so always go even a little higher than what you think. Because when you blend it out, it's always gonna fall. So if you even do it a little higher, blend it out, it'll fall a little bit. So that I feel like is the two things that I see most on, and then blending too. Just gotta keep blending it.
Not enough blending.
Not enough blending that I see.
Yeah, sometimes there's just like stark lines. Like, girl, we could see where your contour line is. Clean it up, tighten it up.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
So that's what I see pretty much.
How do you feel about the smaller contouring? Like, you know, some of the stars out there talk a lot about like, no, I didn't get a nose job. It's just my nose contouring. So like nose and lip contouring.
Like the little tip. Like
I
people
love
do that.
nose and lip contouring. I feel like I do it on a lot of my brides, especially the nose contouring. I think it always kind of looks cute, like a little button nose type of action. I always like to do like a little lifting contour, like I'll do like little lines and then like a little button nose. And then lip contouring is super easy. All you gotta do is line the lips with your contour, blend it out, and then if you put the lip products on top, it always kind of makes your lips look bigger if you want them to be.
I like that. I never thought about lip
Has
contouring.
anybody ever
yeah.
asked for smaller lips? Make my lips
No.
smaller.
No,
That's
not in our field.
Never. Literally, I've
never.
never gotten that question. I've always gotten, oh, can you just line my lips the way they are? And I'm always like, okay. I always like to overdraw a little bit up top because I feel like when people smile in pictures, normally their lip curls under. So I always like to overline a little on top. But if they want it the way their lips are naturally are, so be it. I'll do that too.
All right. What is some of your favorite products, lip product
Ooh.
colors? Like what's in now? What's the newest trends for this year, this
For
fall coming
lips,
up?
oh, for fall?
Just in general.
So I feel like for right now, neutral pinks are always going to be what everybody wants. Like I feel like neutral pink is like what a lot of people ask for, like that nude pinky look. Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury is like a classic. A lot of my brides use it. It's just like that perfect neutral pink color, honestly. Lip glosses, there's so many, but the ones that smell the best, that are luxury-ish, the Fenty ones, the lip glosses by Fenty, they smell like how Lip Smackers used to smell, like that strawberry, like bubblegum smell. They smell so good, and I feel like the certain colors ranges that they have with the sparkle, it just like glides on. It's not like a plump or anything. Those are really popular that I use. And then Tower 28 has really good lip glosses, and their most popular colors like pistachio. It's like that neutral
I've heard of
pink.
that, yeah.
That one's really pretty. Fenty Sweet Mouth is what I normally use for the Fenty, and yeah, but also berries are in. And then corals and peaches are super in this season. So that's what I feel like a lot of people are wanting, like that
What
peachy
about I've
coral.
been seeing this purple blush. This
Yes.
on my Instagram, they're like harassing me. The Dior one, I bought it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I use it. I use
It works.
a lot.
It works. It works. They made me buy things all
I
the
use
time.
it a lot.
So yeah, I love it.
I love the purple.
Yeah,
The
purples
purple
are
tone
in.
blush. It's funny because it doesn't look purple on. It looks like that nice cool tone
Yes.
pink because like your skin tone neutralizes the purple in it. So it doesn't look actually purple, but
It goes on purple.
exactly. No,
So
it's
for
super
people
nice.
that don't understand like color wheel or color science, if you will, how would somebody determine whether they needed a cool tone or a warm tone?
So I feel like people kind of have a general grasp on what they normally go for and what they think looks good on them. Cool tone, it's funny because I like to neutralize people's skin tone. So if someone has like a pinkier hue, I kind of sometimes use like yellow, warmer tones on them to neutralize them. So if someone has like a really cool tone skin, I'm not afraid to do like warm tones like peaches, coral, stuff like that, because I feel like I said, it neutralizes somebody. But that nice purpley pink looks pretty good on everybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's all kind of like your own preference, like what you're most comfortable with, because I feel like there's a stigma like, oh, I have green eyes and blonde hair, like what looks good on me?
Right, they're like, I need this tone, not that one, but really,
But
you can do
really,
what you like.
you can do whatever you like. I just don't feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's whatever you're more comfortable in, but there are some colors that look good on certain skin tones. So if people ask me like, what do you think will look best on me? Of course I'll tell them, but it's all up to their discretion too, like what they like.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. What's your favorite what am I trying to say? What's your favorite strip lash? Because I know like lashes, people always ask me about lashes because I like to wear some falsies sometimes. So what's your favorite go-to?
My absolute favorite go-to, I feel like for my brides especially, or for special occasion, are the lily lashes. They are on the more expensive side, but I feel like if you're looking for like that, you know, perfect lash for an event, the lily lashes just never disappoint. They can do a half lash if you want, there's a full lash. I always go for like the lashes that have light at the end of them. So if you go on their website, it's like Lily Lashes, like, oh, like Miami. I always do like the Miami light.
Oh, okay.
It's not like so thick.
It's not
maybe.
so thick
Yeah.
with the band because like I just don't want to make people's eyes like heavier. I always kind of do a lighter band, a lighter wispier lash to open
That's way
people's
better.
eyes.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's Miami light, there's Mykonos light.
I feel like I need them for vacation.
You
They're
did the
really
Mykonos one
amazing.
for your trip coming up.
They're amazing.
What's your take on lash extensions?
So it's a tough one.
Does it make it harder when your client has lash extensions and you're trying to like do their makeup or anything like that?
Yes, because I feel like they kind of hold more powder. And also sometimes lash extensions, depending on how thick or full they are, they weigh down the eye.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm doing all this work to try to lift and brighten your eye, and then you have this heavier lash extension type thing going on, and it kind of just, it will never do what I want it to do because of the way they're.
That's one of the trends that I wish would just go away.
Yeah.
The ginormous lash extensions. I think it's just,
We're the very, very
Yeah.
dark.
and they're just like thick, like you could like rest a pencil on them and it'll
Yeah.
stay. Like that, I think needs to go.
I would.
Caterpillar lashes.
Yeah.
It's too much and it's so bad. The lashes.
Yeah.
I used to do
prefer-
them, ruin my lashes. They're okay now, but
I prefer like tinting, like lash tinting, and then lifts.
yeah.
But do it like a week like in advance. Don't do like a fresh lift because then you're like, sometimes they look super
too
lifted and then I
curly.
can't put lashes on top of them. Like that's been my thing before.
Speaking of timelines, if you're a bride and you're looking for a timeline as far as aesthetic treatments go, help us out.
So it depends. I definitely recommend at least a month in advance. But normally, like if there is a bride coming in, I would like to have them at least like a 3-month plan, because I feel like I mean, I could be totally wrong, but what I noticed, every single bride looks the best a month after their injections and their Botox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we tend to, I think we're on the same page, but
Yes.
we tend to say like 4 to 6 weeks. I prefer 6 weeks before a wedding, that
So you
way.
have some time to finagle if there's.
Yeah.
gotta
Time to
tweak something.
finagle, and also like you're at the 6-week mark, you're not so super stiff, so you have like a little bit of animation coming on its way back. So like
Yeah.
in photos, it's like a more natural look.
Yeah. I
Definitely.
feel like it's more important too is that if you've never even tried Botox or anything,
Right.
try it 6 months before your wedding.
Agreed.
And make sure you like it.
Agreed.
Because you know, for someone that comes to my chair and they're like, yeah, I'm getting married in a month and I want to try Botox for the first time, I'm kind of like,
That's scary. Yeah.
So yes, we'll do it, but it's like I would do a lighter treatment on someone and say, come back and I'll tweak you a little bit. But yeah, what if they don't like it?
Definitely.
They're still liking pictures forever.
Definitely. So yeah, 6 months would be the best option, but if brides don't have 6 months or they don't think about it, like at least like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, and I think they should really start facials like the 6-month mark.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sometimes they like to do like microneedling.
Oh yeah. Every single time I get a bridal trial, I'm like, how's your skin like? Do you get facials regularly? And I talked to the medical estheticians, Michelle and Rose, and they said a week before your wedding, get a nice hydrofacial with dermaplaning, get all those vellus hairs off, make sure your skin is nice and smooth and hydrated. That is the sweet spot for your skin to look its best on your wedding day.
Yep, that's my favorite treatment. I
It's
do
the
it once a
best.
month.
It's so
My
good.
favorite thing on earth.
I'm due, but they're great.
What's your favorite setting spray?
My favorite setting spray for summer is the One Size On Till Dawn. It literally is like an aerosol, and it's like a, I don't know, like a hairspray, but it's great, especially if you're super oily or sweating a lot. You set it, you forget it, and it'll last all night. Yeah, that's my favorite setting spray for now.
Yeah. So if there's anyone that's interested in becoming a makeup artist, what's the first steps you take?
That's a hard one. I would honestly I would say not to be afraid of messing up or not to be afraid of making mistakes, because everybody starts somewhere. And if someone's starting out and let's say it doesn't come out exactly how they want it, practice makes perfect. And just, keep with your passion and you will eventually get where you want to be.
Yeah,
That's
I love
really
that.
good advice.
That is great advice. Aw.
How would people find you if they're interested in booking a consultation for makeup?
So I have an Instagram. It's Aesthetic Alexa. I have my own business. It's Aesthetic Alexa Inc. They can email me from there. They can DM me. I have my website where they can fill out a form if they would like to book with me. I do offer a special event. I offer bridal. I offer one-on-one sessions. Like, I love to teach people how to do their makeup. So they can find me there, or even on It Aesthetix Instagram.
Message us if you can't find Alexa.
If you can't find me.
And I love that you
Yeah.
offer those types of one-on-one, because I feel like a lot of people maybe just are intimidated by all the stuff that's out there. They don't know how to get started, but they want to,
I think it's very overwhelming.
It
can be
is.
very overwhelming for sure.
Yeah, the beauty industry is a huge, huge industry. It's the #1 industry that is growing right now. And it's just, there's so much going on and it can be super overwhelming. And I feel like there's so many claims like, oh, this is in, this is out. It's all the trends are ever evolving. It's crazy.
It's constant.
But
Cool. So if you're looking for tips on how to do your makeup, call our girl. You know where to find her.
Girl.
We will link her contact information. Otherwise, you'll see her when you come in to see Lindsey and I.
Yep.
yeah.
Thank you for coming,
Thank
Alexa.
you.
Thank you
All
for
of the
having
Great. Thank
me.
you.
Trade
You
secrets.
guys are amazing.
Yes.
I feel so appreciated to not only be a part of It Aesthetics, but to be working with both of you. You guys are amazing.
I love you. Such a good
Love
talent.
you.
So talented.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
We'll see you on Unfilter It.
Bye.